I've been getting a bit of grief, shall we say, a little bit of criticism or questioning from people who've been following the Sprint series on YouTube. Things like, have you actually finished that? What's happening with the Sprint? Are you still working on it? And so on. And these are justified, these comments, because people show interest in it and I post videos and then I suddenly kind of stop. As I think I may have said before, the reason was I had some changes of circumstances which necessitated I refocus my attention on a more pressing project, namely a Victorian house which has to be completely taken apart, gutted and brought up to date and up to spec, really. There was a lot of issues with it, which I don't really want to go into, but it's damp and issues like that, which are caused mostly by the wrong things being done to the house, and it's taken me a lot of time to get that sorted out, and it's ongoing. I'm still working on it, but at the time of filming, we're in the middle of this coronavirus thing. We were locked down. We're not so locked down now, but it does mean that getting hold of some of the parts for cars is not always easy, particularly on the rarer cars. Also, you may have noticed that there's an MGB in here. Yes, that is an MGB. And in actual fact, I've had the MGB longer than I've had the Sprint. And initially, I didn't know what I was doing with it, to be honest, when I first started trying to do the body work on it, and I was making a bit of a mess of it, and I thought, well, I need to get a bit better at this before I continue with the car. And I kind of, because I made a bit of a mess of it, I kind of lost interest, and it got left in a shed covered in loads and loads of stuff. Anyway, recently I've reorganized all of my cars, outbuildings, sheds, storage units, everything, and I've got rid of the stuff that was in this shed, and I bought the MGB in here because if I can't do mechanical work because I can't get parts, and I've got time on my hands because of lockdown, I can, and I'm more proficient now with the welding, get on with maybe doing some work on the MGB, because that's a very nice car and it's worth doing. But anyway, we're talking about the Sprint. Yes, I have been doing some work on the Sprint. Mostly I did a little bit of welding on the body, so I'll show that another time, under the wheel arch mostly, but I'm not happy with it yet. And when I am, I'll perhaps post a video. Here is the engine, which I've been happily in the evenings when I've had an hour or two here and there, putting the ancillaries back on. As you can see, it's looking quite clean and tidy. Over here are, in these plastic bags, are all of the brake calipers, and in here is the brake compensator valve, all of which have been rebuilt, apart from the compensator valve, rebuilt with new seals. The compensator valve, I just took it apart, cleaned it and put it back together again because I'd assembled it using brake fluid, and brake fluid is hydroscopic, and it was attracting moisture, so it was rusting inside. So I cleaned it up again, and I've reassembled it this time in such a way that it won't get wet and rusty. There's a starter motor, an alternator which have been freshened up. I've also taken the 1350 motor that came with the Sprint, its original engine, out of here. It was a block and lots of bits, and I basically reassembled it so that it can take up less space, and I've put that in a different place. I'm going to keep that engine because it's the original one for the car, and if I sell the car I might well let that engine go with it. All original parts for the car where I changed them will be kept, and will be kept to go with the car when it's sold, if it's sold. If someone wants to keep it original, they can put it all back to standard. for the minute, I'm quite happy to have their 1500cc engine because it'll give it a bit more poke, and it didn't need a rebuild. So there we are, people. I'm kind of sorry to disappoint you, but I wanted to say something about what's happening with the Sprint. I'm feeling much better now, having had quite a lot of time to get reorganised, and to be honest, you can be overwhelmed by stuff if the organisation falls away. So anyway, I will post another video on YouTube about the Sprint when I've got some more to show you, and I won't be doing anything until that happens. I may post videos on other cars, on boats and other stuff, but it doesn't mean that I've given up on the Sprint. It means that I'm just setting it aside for the minute until I can focus on it fully. And when I finish the Sprint, I shall perhaps work on the MGB. Or there's another couple of cars that I've got hidden away, which I shall drag out and work on and post videos on. So thanks for watching, and stay safe, look after yourselves, and good luck with all of your projects.